Good morning and welcome to the channel. It has been another week since I've last made a video. I've been a little bit under the weather. Oh no. This past week, so this is the first day I've been able to film. My energy still isn't quite that high, but we are back up here now and I'm ready to sand the drywall finally. It will probably be only a half day. This is going to be a hard video to get through, so I might just do a bunch of time lapses. We are going to sand the mud that I mudded previously in the previous video. There is background noise right now because they're digging stuff up from the ground. The water line from the well to the house, they dug a trench to run their supply water lines, so that's what the noise is behind me right now. Don't know if you can hear it or not, but I'll show you a bit of an update on the outside later on, maybe when it's less noisy. But now let's jump inside and begin sanding. Cool. So it's pretty much exactly how I left it in the previous video. That is, I have my third and final coat on, all the seams finally. It's all dry. A slight little update is I built these partition walls. That will be a sliding barn door in that opening to close off that room, so it can be a spare bedroom or study room or whatever, just so there's an extra space to go. So I actually have sanded the bathroom and bedroom. Here's what the bathroom looks like right now. You won't be able to tell really a difference between unsanded and sanded, I don't think, but regardless, the only thing you can tell that is sanded is all the dust on the ground. But the flats are done, they turned out really well, the screw heads. The inside corners, we'll be doing shiplap on this wall, so I didn't have to do them. There'll be a little bit of tricky work here for our shower base. It'll probably have to be a custom made base. Originally we were going to do a tub when we designed it, so the plumber put his drain in for the dimensions of a tub, but now it's going to be a shower base, so that drain is a different dimension and that kind of throws off any standard shower tray pan, so it might have to be a custom one. I'm going to do a little bit of research to see if I can still find a pre-slope base to make it easier and faster. But if not, we'll just try to do a custom one, I guess. That'll be in a future video. And then yeah, that does it for in here. There's a couple places I have to touch up in the mud, not too bad. There's like one screw pop, but that's not too bad. Take a look, here they are. So I'll do a little bit of setup here. Because the bathroom and bedroom are already done, I can move stuff into there. Whoa, the camera is skewed. That's how I feel right now, okay. Because the bathroom and bedroom are already sanded, I can move stuff into there so they don't get dusty. And then I'll tape up the utility room door because there's some electronics in there now that shouldn't get dusty. With the solar stuff, so make sure that that's protected from the dust. Other than that, we'll start sanding shortly here, which I'll probably turn the camera off for because I don't want my camera to get dusty. Almost all cleaned up here. I'm just going to protect that utility room, put some plastic over the door, and then start sanding. There's a lot of seams, so it might take a while. Okay, the area is pretty much prepped, ready to go. I'll go over everything with this pole sander first, and because of its width, it's able to not follow any dips as easily as a sanding sponge would, and it will ride on top of the ridges and sand them down to bring it level with whatever the lowest point is. That's the idea anyways, that it rides on top of the ridges. So I'll use this on my flats, my inside corners, outside corners, my off angles, and then I'll go back over everything with a sanding sponge, which is much smaller, and it will follow any inconsistencies a little more easily because it's smaller and softer, not as rigid as this is. So go back over everything with this if I have to feather out any edges, or if I just can't get at something with this, like some of these inside corners I won't be able to, the 3-ways over there, so that's where the sanding sponge comes in helpful. And my 4-inch knife I'll use to crisp those corners up a little bit as well. Yeah, so drink lots of water. Let's go. Let's go. I'll also carry a pencil around. That way, if there is any imperfections, I can just mark them and then go back and put more mud on them or sand them down a little extra. Whatever needs to be done.
Safety first. Speaking of safety, I'll wear my safety hat too. I'll hide the logo so I'm not advertising them, but you might have already seen it. Maybe not. I'll blur it out. Nah, it doesn't matter. Whatever. Okay, I'm gonna start over here. Oh, thank goodness that the mic was on this whole time. Yeah, I'll start the ceilings while I feel nimble. See how it goes.
Okay, that one seam is done. I go over it in both directions. If you go in a grid pattern, you're more likely to hit all those high points rather than just follow them going in one direction. So I go in both directions first, and then it's finished. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more to do. And then all the walls, and then all the inside corners. I'm going to change up this paper for the flats on the walls and ceilings. I got oversized paper. That's another story in and of itself. My goodness. So for the flats, I center my oversized paper on either side of my pad. And then for my inside corners, I go flush to one side of the pad. That way I don't dig into the opposite corner when I go into my inside corners. And by centering it for my flats, there's less of a sharp edge to dig in. And it acts more like a slight float. There's a bit of a bevel on it if I do it this way. So there's less chance of me digging in. But top tips. Okay. I'm actually going to I'm gonna remove you from the building. Sorry. I'll give you an update later.
That's a nicer view anyway, isn't it? All the dirt and trees. Nice. Those rocks will be about the update. Big pile of rocks. Okay.
I'm done. Half of it. Second half will be another day. 3 o'clock now. Finish the far side. Give you a look. Although it's gonna look pretty much exactly the same as it did before. But you can tell by the white floor, a lot has been sanded. The flats weren't too bad. The inside corners, actually none of it was too bad. It was pretty good. But it still requires a lot of work to make it all the same, so the light doesn't pick up on it when it is painted. I have a little bit of concern on the off angles, laying this long stretch here. I did this whole length in one piece, which mudding it, embedding that off angle into the mud, making it clean and neat and straight is a bit tricky to do. So there's a couple places I had to cut out because there were bubbles. Mud didn't adhere to the back of it and I had to re-mud it, but it's all fixed now. I'll come back tomorrow or the following day to sand this side of the building. So I'll probably have another 6 hours left of sanding and a big cleanup to follow. The big cleanup is important because somehow the drywall dust always finds a way back into your main finish space if you don't eliminate it at this stage. So once it's all sanded, I'll clean it all up and then we'll be ready for priming and painting, which is awesome because this stage has felt like it's gone on a little too longer, a little too much longer, a little too longer than I would have liked with the constant humidity outside. It's been raining almost for the whole month, it feels like, and then being a bit sick this past week, so it's just progressed longer. But one more full day should take care of the worst of it. One more full day should take care of the worst of it. Yeah. All right, that's gonna do it for today's episode. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next one. I got half of it done. So. Sure, one master that step too.